Good evening. With the Ghana Learning Channel's News in Capsule for Wednesday, July 7, 2021, I am Kingsley Bryan. Here's a look at some of the top stories we will be covering this evening. We'll tell you that the Education Ministry debunks false rumors. And guidance program launched. Young people with disabilities to benefit. Also, Minister Bharat urges miners to be effective. Says production of aggregate material needed. And Region 3 and 4 contractors caution. All works to be completed by November's end. Also, CARICOM travel bubble proposed. Reduced airfare, easier travel are some of the benefits. And CGX spuds first exploration well. Drilling to conclude on December 15. And in the region, we'll tell you that wax figures were unveiled for CARICOM Day. Features 6 eminent Caribbean people. And internationally, the Ever Given finally given an all clear after 3 months of disrupting vital trade. And now for the news in detail. The Ministry of Education has noted a panicked, sensational, reckless, and potentially dangerous post attributed to the Ghana Teachers Union, which alleges that a COVID-19 positive student has been placed in the same environment with staff, students, and candidates writing CSEC Math Today at a Region 6 secondary school. The ministry refutes this statement as untrue. The ministry reminds the union that it is the collective duty to act in the best interest of all of our children at all times. Students who are positive, medically cleared to write their examinations and choose to write their examinations shall and are being facilitated by the Ministry of Education. They are placed in separate rooms, in this particular case in an entirely separate teaching block, and being invigilated by trained medical personnel wearing the appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE. The ministry says, when we say we love children, we must show them that we do. When we say we will listen to and hear the needs of children, we must show that we mean that whenever we could. The Ministry of Education thanks the medical personnel and the teachers who have stayed true to their promise to serve all without fear or favor. The ministry remains committed to acting in the best interest of our children every day. The Ministry of Education was never oblivious to the reality that we may have to face such a situation during this time, and as such, all the necessary preparations were put in place. A good education system has to be one that is responsive to arising needs and new situations in a manner that places our students in the least disadvantaged position. Statement ends. And in other news, the First Lady's office, in collaboration with the Ghana Council of Organization for Persons with Disabilities, the GCOPD, on Tuesday launched a guidance and counseling program for young people with disabilities, aimed at helping them in a number of areas, including job coaching and career guidance. The program will be piloted with students from the Special Education Needs Schools, or SEN, young members of the Disabled People Organization, DPOs, and the orphanages that house young persons with disabilities in Regions 3 and 4. Through the program, persons will benefit from job coaching, psychosocial support, career guidance, capacity building, among other areas of support and empowerment. A report from the Department of Public Information noted that First Lady Mrs. Arya Ali spoke of the importance of having persons living with disabilities to be a part of the country's revival post-COVID. Ms. Savvy Hopkinson, the Ministry of Education Special Education's NEED National Officer, highlighted the importance of such a program to the overall empowerment of young persons with disabilities. Ms. Hopkinson welcomed the program and pledged her department's support to the implementation of the initiative across the various regions. Meanwhile, Minister of Natural Resources, the Honorable Vikram Bharat, on Tuesday urged miners to do more to boost the production of aggregate materials to meet local demand and further strengthen the economy. Minister Bharat made these comments during a quarrying seminar sponsored by the Ghana Geology and Mines Commission to encourage the effective management of quarryable resources. Data has revealed that Ghana's demand last year was some 900,000 tons. Minister Barrett said the demand could reach 1.5 million tons over the next 2 years, although the country is producing at 650 tons per year. He said the government has been importing over 200,000 tons of construction aggregate annually to address the shortfall. He further added that the government is working to reduce importation of the material. Minister Barrett noted that local businesses must realize that partnerships are necessary to meet the growing demand. The Natural Resources Minister further recommitted to working in the best interest of miners and urged them to see the GGMC as their partner. Meanwhile, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honorable Nigel Dharamlal, during a meeting with contractors on Tuesday, said that contractors in Regions 3 and 4 are expected to complete all infrastructure work by the end of November. Minister Dharamlal noted that the move is government's approach to ensure efficient services are delivered to the Guyanese people. He added that to this end, projects could only roll over if permission is granted by the relevant authority. Minister Dharamlal urged contractors to tender for works that are realizable by them, as they will be charged liquidated fees if they are unable to fulfill their contractual obligations. Works are currently being supervised by the regional engineers. However, the ministry is currently in the process of training other personnel to monitor those programs. And on a lighter note, the Rotary Club of Georgetown, in collaboration with the Mohan Thani Foundation, donated a total of 30 wheelchairs to the Georgian Public Hospital Corporation and the Infectious Disease Hospital. The club's president, Ramona Singh, in handing over the wheelchairs, stated that the club recognizes the need of persons living with disabilities to access appropriate mobility devices and rehabilitation services. She further stated that the club will continue this initiative, which seeks to improve the lives of persons with disabilities by enabling independent mobility and equal participation in community life. Chief Executive Officer of the Georgian Public Hospital Corporation, retired Brigadier George Lewis, expressed his sincere gratitude to the club and the Mohan Thani Foundation for their usual support and generous contributions to the institution. And with the pandemic not letting up on its strong grip, Caribbean leaders are expected to meet next week and consider short-term proposals for the reduction of intra-regional travel taxes, which would result in cheaper airline tickets and the restart of tourism in a travel bubble. And this is according to Chairman of CARICOM, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown. A report from the Guyana Chronicle noted that Brown told reporters at a press conference on Tuesday night that the resumption and intensification of regional tourism was a topical matter discussed during the two-day Heads of Government conference. The tourism-dependent economies of the Caribbean, according to the recent World Bank and International Monetary Fund reports, have been particularly hard hit by the restrictions imposed to control the spread and devastation of the novel coronavirus. Last year, these Caribbean countries experienced negative economic growth as the travel and tourism sector came to a grinding halt. This year, some countries have started to permit travel, but the tourism sector, which garnered much of the region's revenues, has not yet rebounded. And it is expected that after a visit and a wait of 6 years, the development of an airstrip at the number 36 village, Berbice, will finally receive the nod to go ahead from Cabinet. This is the view of Public Works Minister Juan Edgell, who recently, during a consultation with residents of the community and surrounding areas, posited such. According to Edgell, Cabinet will have the final say on the project, but he does not anticipate the application being denied. This is alluding to the fact that the project was already approved by the Environmental Protection Agency, as well as other stakeholders, including residents. The application for the development of the airstrip was made by rice miller Mahindra Prasad on behalf of Nan Prasad and Company Limited. The company envisions using the airstrip to facilitate the spraying of rice fields. According to the rice miller, an airstrip in that community will boost rice production. The only concerns raised by residents about this project is the type of chemicals that will be used, but these concerns were addressed by the applicant. And in welcome news, the Canadian-based oil company CGX Energy Incorporated, which was given a November 2021 deadline by the government of Guyana to drill its first well in the Corentyne block, has finally spudded its first exploration well. According to a married notice, CGX would have started drilling on the Kawa-1 well as of July 2 in the Corentyne block, within Guyana's exclusive economic zone. The notice went on to inform that the Modu Maersk Discoverer will be conducting the drilling activities 19 nautical miles from the coast of Guyana and over an area of 4.7 square nautical miles. The drilling, Marriott informed, will conclude on December 15, 2021. As is usually the case with offshore oil exploration sites, mariners were advised to stay clear of these vessels and to exercise extreme caution when in the vicinity. And now turning our attention to the world of sports, we'll tell you that Italy beat Spain on penalties to reach the Euro 2020 final after an enthralling semi-final at Wembley. After Alvaro Morata's penalty was saved, Jorginho strolled up to score and set up a final with either England or Denmark in London on Saturday. Spain had won all 5 previous semi-final appearances in major tournaments, including their successes in 2008, 2010, and 2012, when they dominated world football. But that 100% run has now come to an end. And in news from the region, CARICOM's role in shaping and sustaining the region has been lauded with the unveiling of 6 wax figures of eminent Caribbean people on Monday, during a special ceremony to mark CARICOM Day at the Caribbean Wax Museum in Norman Center, Bridgetown. The figures were of Barbados' first female Governor General, Dame Nita Barrow, winner of the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics, Sir Arthur Lewis of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' national hero, Joseph Chatoya, Jamaican Olympic sprinter Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, former Commonwealth Secretary General Sir Sridhat Ramphal of Guyana, and Calypso Rose of Trinidad and Tobago. In his remarks at the unveiling ceremony, Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Commisong, described the exhibition as one of the most unique CARICOM Day celebrations there has ever been, adding, open quote, "I don't know if any member state has ever celebrated CARICOM Day with a wax statue exhibition," end of quote. Witnessing yesterday's ceremony were Barbados' Special Envoy to Suriname, Senator Althea Wiggins, Consultant under CARICOM Single Market and Economy, Dr. George Braffett, Dr. Nicole Moore-Clark of the Guyanese Association of Barbados, and Swaz Blair of the Jamaica Association of Barbados, among others. The region marked its 48th anniversary on July 4, CARICOM Day. And that story was extracted and modified from Loop Caribbean News. And internationally, the Ever Given has begun its journey out of the Suez Canal more than 3 months after it ran aground, clogging up one of the world's most vital trade arteries and disrupting global supply chains. The quarter-mile-long container ship, which blocked the Suez Canal for 6 days in March, will now sail to Rotterdam in the Netherlands, with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cargo still on board. It was next due to call at Felixstowe in England. The journey to Rotterdam could take about 2 weeks, as the vessel will likely have to sail at a slower pace than usual due to damage sustained from the incident. The Ever Given ran aground in the Suez Canal on March 23, heaping pressure on strained global supply chains as hundreds of other vessels became ensnared. The blockage exacerbated container shortages, port congestion, and capacity constraints that have made it much more expensive to move goods around the world and caused shortages of everything from exercise bikes to cheese at a time of unprecedented demand. The vessel was refloated on March 29, but has been held in the canal's Great Bitter Lake amid a legal battle between Japanese ship owner Sri Kisen Kaisha and the Suez Canal Authority, which initially filed a $900 million compensation claim for losses arising from the 6-day blockage. A formal agreement involving an undisclosed settlement was reached between the owners of the ship and the Suez Canal Authority. Khaled Abu Bakr, a lawyer acting for the Suez Canal Authority, confirmed to CNN on Sunday. And that story was extracted and modified from CNN. And that's our news broadcast for Wednesday, July 7, 2021. Please join us for a rebroadcast tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself and technical team, thanks for watching. Please join us for our NGSA Booster programs on the Ghana Learning Channel. Also, please remember to observe all the necessary precautionary methods to fight off COVID-19. We're all in this together. Good evening.